All right, artists, let's work on our cherry blossoms. So I'm going to show you two ways to do the branches. One way is using the paintbrush like normal. So we swish, we drag, and then we can grab our paint. Now my paint is already ready to go. It is wet. I have a nice puddle of water on top. You can see that it moves. Remember, we always paint with that water bubble on top. We don't want to paint with the hard paint cake because that is wasteful. These are called watercolors because we paint with the water. Okay, so we can grab our color. I happen to have two going right now because one of mine is almost out of some colors. So you can just go ahead and paint your branches like you normally would. Taking my brown and I'm painting those branches. And I'm going back over them because they're not really that dark. And I want my brown to be pretty dark. Now while it's wet, if I want to make it darker, I'm going right to the edge of the paper too. It's hard to tell with this camera. Right to the edge of the paper. If I want to make this darker, what I can do while it's still really wet is come in here and put a tiny bit of black while it's still wet. See, I just put a little dot and it will flow because our paint is already wet. And it'll all blend in. Just give it a minute. And if it doesn't, just take a wet brush to it. Okay. So there's one little bit of a branch. You can do it the opposite way too and use black first and then go over it with brown. And they go right off and they get really fine at the end. Now the other fun way is to use a straw. If you don't have a straw, you can roll up a piece of paper into a tube and try that. I'm going to use my straw and we're going to make some paint. And we want a nice big paint bubble. I have to fix this. Okay. So nice big paint bubble. We're going to put it right at the bottom here. I'm going to use black so you can see it really well. One dot, two. Okay, notice how I'm putting these nice big blobs of paint at the bottom. You can see I have kind of a little puddle going. You need a lot because we are going to use the straw to blow it. So what I'm doing is dipping it in the paint. Dip it in the paint. Dip it on my page. Dip it in the paint. Dip it on my page. I want a nice bubble. Okay, now you can see I've got a pretty big bubble going, and I'm going to use my straw to blow the paint. And we want to get the bottom of the straw close to the paint, but don't touch it. And we want to blow out. You don't want to suck it in. We're not drinking the paint. And then you just follow the paint with the straw as you blow. So you can see I've got one there. Now if I want to lighten that up a little, I can add a little brown to it while it's still really wet. I like it dark though. Okay, so I've got two branches. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to turn my page here, get my little bit of black paint. I'm going to make another bubble like right here. And another one here. Dip and dot. Dip and dot. Okay, now I'm going to try it again. Got my straw. And then remember to move with the paint as it blows. And we get little ones. So I kind of love happening. It looks a little symmetrical. I'll do one more of these brown ones coming this way, and maybe one more this way. And then that way I get it to be not so even. So however your branches turn out. You can see on this one we use the straw and we have it sort of coming out almost like a hand. And that's fine. And then this one, it's a little bit different. So now that we have our branches, we can go ahead and start painting our cherry blossoms. Now we know that cherry blossoms are often white or pink or yellow or peach, so I'm going to go ahead and do pink. And the way I get pink is by doing red. I'm just going to put a couple little dots. Kind of put those petals in, right? So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you can really start to see the pink because the red is fading off my brush, which I love. Now if you want to just add a few dots too to sort of fill in some space, you could do that. We want to fill this up nicely. This one I kind of love when the brush starts to get lighter because it really gives some other colors. Really light pink, that one. Okay, so don't be afraid to mix it up. I'm gonna get a wet brush, and you'll see if you find it's too dark, just dip your brush in water, and that's how you get that lighter pink. So I can dip it in red. I can dip it in water, and then I'll get that nice lighter pink. I'm just painting some little flowers. You could even almost paint them as snowflakes if you wanted. So if you want to keep them really small, you just sort of paint an X and then put another line through it. That works really nicely. And notice that I'm not touching the branches because I don't want the branch colors to fade in and blend in. Kind of like this little snowflake pattern. A little more paint. And we're getting some really nice cherry blossoms. So when you feel like you've got enough coverage, I like to add quite a few, then you're going to let this dry. Take a picture of it, and put some more dots in to fill some space. Take a picture of it, and you're going to go to that bottom link where it says turn in here. Click that, and then you will go to the submit button, which is that gray button on the right, and you're going to press that, and then you will upload your picture and I will get to see it. If you have any questions about this one, send me a message in Schoology. You can send a little video message, which is kind of nice. So send me a message and I will respond. And if you need some one-on-one time because you're really struggling, then let me know. But you can see I've got my cherry blossoms here, and I've got some that I painted like a flower, drawing in those 5 petals with my brush, some of which I painted more like a snowflake, and I think these are a little bit more successful. And then I have some that are just dots, so we have little bitty dots in there. And you could add some leaves if you wanted, add a little bit of greenery, so that always looks good. I'm just going to add some dots for those leaves as well. We don't have to paint everything in to make it look real, which is another thing I love about painting. So you can get the idea here that there's some leaves, but mostly it's just the cherry blossoms that we see. All right, my friends, I cannot wait to see your paintings. Go ahead and submit them. If you have questions, let me know. And I will see you Friday at our live session. All right, have a great week.